What's up, everybody? So tonight we're in Memphis, Tennessee. Y'all know that's my area, and Rob just happened to be.
What's up?
I saw like 2 days ago that he was playing in town. He was scheduled to be on the podcast, I believe, in March. Him and his buddy Sam Morrow.
Oh yeah.
We're both scheduled to be on. And then I saw you were in town. I'm like, well, let's see what happens.
We'll speed that shit up.
So appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
I've been digging into your music ever since you kind of came on. We talked about Taylor Honeycutt a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Whenever I kind of started meeting her and the band, it introduced me to a lot of different artists. You know, I try to stay up on people, but there's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's hard.
So, but you were one of the ones that came on the radar from that group of people.
Oh yeah, they're kin, man.
That's we talked a little bit about that before we came on here about just everybody being cool.
Yeah.
We
got a cool little circle of artists getting after it, and we're all connected in some way. And shit, it's been fun. You run into them on the road, or you pass them, or you get a show with them again, because we're all out there hustling.
We've talked to a bunch of different people as far as getting, I guess, kind of accepted into the scene.
Yeah.
And it seems like the common thread is, as long as you're out hustling,
right,
and you're not trying to do a shortcut, and you got the talent, and you're working hard, then
yeah.
But it's so let's do this. I guess let's start with just in your words, who is Rob Leines?
Oh shit, man, that's a long story. I've lived a lot of lives. Well, I come from a blue collar background. Was a welder, and then got into music slowly. Did an open mic night when I was working out in California on the offshore, and kind of snowballed from there, and kind of burned the candle at both ends for a while. And then it became a full-time job, and started touring, and then was just, now we're looping the country. So
And tonight is your first night of a winter tour.
Yes, also. First night of a winter tour.
And how long does this go through?
We'll be gone. We'll take a quick break over Christmas, and then we all meet back up in California and finish the tour. So we'll do Tennessee, Kentucky, most of the Midwest, and then haul ass back to Texas, get on a plane, we all fly home, and then 2 days later fly back and meet out in California.
So as far as the band you got with you these days, so you're in Texas these days,
I'm in Texas
right?
now, yeah.
Is that just because of where things are happening, or how did you?
Well, it's centrally located. I mean, I've lived out west, I've lived in the southeast, I've lived in Phoenix. I mean, that's all pretty far out, and it's always kind of been on my radar for touring purposes, because that's what we are.
Right.
We're not, I don't do the videos. I mean, I should, but I'm not banking on
right.
Videos online. So we hit the streets, man.
Well, that's, I guess if you're hitting the streets, welcome to Memphis, right?
Yeah, right. It's been a day. It's been a day.
We'll make sure we talk about that too. But I imagine Texas, like you said, as far as it being real central, because a lot of gigs.
A lot of gigs, and that was the one thing. And you can work when you're home, and you can get gigs while you're home. I found that a little harder in other places. Traveling west, it's 20 hours of LA, and sometimes not much in between. But you can go north, east, west.
Right.
It all just kind of makes.
And tons of people make a living without leaving the state.
But, and I love Texas. I've grown to love it for sure. But it's nice to pop around.
Understood.
Yeah.
But when you were doing those open mic things, was it kind of original music kind of from the get-go?
From the get-go, yeah.
So you never were doing the straight cover band?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, and I never play those songs anymore that I did at those open mic nights.
Right, I understood.
It was more of a getting over a fear of the performing aspect of it, and it was more of a challenge to myself just to get over that fear, and then it snowballed into it felt like a safe place to express whatever I had to say, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I'll have to edit myself out there. I thought it had stopped. Thought the red block went away.
Oh no, you're
I
good.
guess the drugs I didn't take were kicking in.
Yeah.
What? That's just the old man. Well, so a lot of people, they start out in that cover band world, and then they gotta learn how to, because everybody likes to cover songs.
Yeah.
Then you got to learn how to force feed all the originals.
For sure.
So I guess if you start out with the originals, you don't know any.
Yeah.
That's all you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I wish I had done more covers, because in the beginning I would have learned a lot from that, and I think it would have been more. I would have been more versatile, but that whole. I mean, it was always just something. That's what music was to me, was an outlet to express myself.
Right.
And we do covers of here and there, sprinkle them in, but I mean, we would start out doing 3-hour sets, and it was all just jam, like groove and my stuff, and maybe do 5 covers.
Gotcha.
In 3 hours, and somehow in LA County we got away with it. I don't know, but.
So the open mics in California, or
Yeah.
the LA area, starting a band?
Yeah, I was an acoustic duo at first, and then got drums and bass, and we had a fiddle for a little while, and then it just kind of came. It was hard to make any money, and we got paid $300 a night. We each got 100. And that was that,
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to learn how to play lead guitar very quick, and we still rock the trio 7 years later. So
Yeah, that's. Is that area? Is the LA area? Is it? I'm sure that there's a ton of people, but as far as original music like that, is it fairly receptive of all that?
Yeah, I think. Even
just because there's so many people.
Yeah, I hate to use this word scene, but there is that there, and there's a great country community, and the Western California country. You got the Hag, and that is huge out there. So there is a thirst for it, and what I've noticed is there's pockets everywhere, even in the Northeast. Up in Brooklyn, Queens, they got a whole bunch of stuff going on right now, and they'll do a night once a month, and they'll pack it out. It's pretty cool
because it's not oversaturated.
It's not oversaturated. So there is little pockets everywhere of people that are hungry for that.
Which is
that
why
style.
you see a lot of bands go into, the Dakotas or Wyoming
For
or
sure.
whatever, because it's not oversaturated with music, which is,
and people are hungrier in those areas because a lot of people don't come through. But even in California, it felt, leaving Georgia and Tennessee, that's what I wrote about, was that area. So I think it was an authentic representation of a place maybe these people hadn't seen or been.
Yeah, you weren't a Cali kid trying to sing about Georgia and Tennessee.
Yeah.
So it was still actually like real.
Yeah, I think that's why we were able to pull it off in that time frame. And I mean, I was there for playing music probably for 5 years. Started from nothing, and then was getting cool gigs, So just not nose to the grindstone, if you will, and yeah.
I guess we won't, go all the generic questions, but like, how did you get from, just kind of a quick view, how did you get from the LA scene, playing your original country songs, to, where you're at today?
Yeah.
It's kind of I know that's a broad question. But.
Yeah, I think it was just circumstantial that I was there, And, you know, and I had cool opportunities and met a lot of cool people and had some close friends that I still talk to today. I knew that I was there for welding at first and just kind of stayed for a while.
Gotcha.
And I didn't move out there to do that originally. So it just kind of happened that way, and I was in a time and a place, and I cut my teeth there, and, you know, I owe a lot to it. And then once we started touring, I was like, I don't need to live anywhere else, you know, like I wanted to eventually own a home, or that pace of life in the city isn't necessarily what I wanted forever at all. I just happened to be there, you know. And I love to visit still. I have no qualms with it, but, you know. No,
I got you. Yeah,
it's not. You're not going to own a house as a musician, you know, unless you're, you know, you're not going to. It's no settling down really. You're gonna chill.
You're gonna have a spot, and that's pretty much what you come home to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in a fucking apartment. It was a bedroom. It was the third bedroom, master bedroom of a 3-bedroom apartment, and they sectioned it off. I had no kitchen. And it was $800 a month. And then when I moved out, I was like, how much y'all gonna rent it out for? They're like, 13. I'm like, what the hell? You know how hard it is? I lived in this place for 4.5 years. You know how hard it is to do it? I wash my dishes in the shower. You know, it's like, this ain't fucking easy.
Right.
Luckily, I lived by myself, but it was a bedroom with a low ceiling.
But it was
and that's it.
It was basically a hotel.
Yeah, 100%. Smaller than a hotel. But it was just me, and that was just where I went to sleep.
Right. That's just where you crashed. So as far as when you were in LA, you were touring everywhere at that point?
Well, I slowly kind of branched out. Like we'd go all the way down to San Diego, we'd do Orange County, then we'd do up, and then we got some gigs up in Tahoe, so we'd go up to Northern California a bunch. Slowly branch out to Arizona, Nevada, and then, I don't think I did. And then I had my roots here, so I'd fly, use a band in the Southeast, and we would just run around the Southeast, and I'd come back. So it was slowly branching out until it became, you know, and then I got an agent, and we got some big opening gigs, and then that's when it kind of started. And now it's just like, all right, this portion of the year, this quarter, we're doing this section, blah, 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 blah. And we capitalize on all that and just run around.
Well, I know you've done podcasts on this before because I was cheating and listening to other podcasts about some information.
I was saying dumb shit.
Yeah. For folks that may or may not know, you've done a lot of dates with Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah.
And,
we did.
Did that, I guess, kind of how did that come about, and how did that change things for you? Was that something that kind of gave you some just more legs to stand on, or?
I don't think of it as a clout thing, but people, you know, like yourself, do bring it up, and we did a year and 20.
Well, it put you in front of faces that you wouldn't be in front of.
For sure,
otherwise.
For sure, but it's a different demographic.
Understood.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And Dwight is the man.
Yeah,
so
I get what you mean.
You have a rowdy Southern rock band in front of you.
Yeah, I got you.
Dwight's going to do Dwight, and he's going to kill it.
Yeah.
You know, so it kind of worked out that way. But
he kept you on.
He kept me on. He kept me on for. We had great shows this year, and you know, they like to switch it up, and I'm grateful for what it is, and it's helped in places where I would have never played. You know, like we played here. We played Graceland with him in Memphis.
Okay.
And it was, that was awesome. Great show. You know, I think that was like 2 years ago. Shit. Yeah, 2022, we spent a lot of time with him. 2023, we started to do our own tour. So that's kind of where it happened. And then the first big show we did was with Whiskey Myers in 2019. We did a run, and then 2020, right before COVID. So they were all under the same suits.
Okay.
And so that's kind of how it snowballed into that. And then we played with Dwight literally before the world shut down. And then I was like, I'll never play with him again. And then a year later, 2 years later, it happened again, and became really close with their camp and everything. And Can't complain.
So that was another thing that I learned on the other the pod, as far as whenever COVID hit, you were kind of debating on whether to even jump back into this thing.
Yeah.
But as soon as the doors kind of open back up, the
floodgates. Everyone.
You jump right back in.
Yeah, I remember it was March and April of 2021, I think. More May.
March.
March, April, and May, and everyone's like, boom, back at it. And for that year and a half, I went back to my old employer and was grateful for it. I welded again for a long time for a big company, and was grateful to have it, grateful to get out and do it. And then I told them, I was like, look, this is about to happen again. And they were all supportive because they'd been watching kind of what I was doing, because I quit that job originally to play music.
It was the same people.
It was the same people, yeah. So I was forever grateful for that, to be able to go back to that.
Man, we've talked to so many people where COVID, I guess, affected them in different ways, but a lot of them didn't even play music until COVID, and then like that just kind of, for whatever reason, maybe like a, if I'm going to do this, I better go ahead and do
time.
it. or like, I don't really know exactly what it was, but we've talked to a ton of people where it made them kind of decide to get their shit together, and this is what I'm going to do. Which is out of all the bad things that were going on, at least there was some of that, where beforehand they were like, I don't know, but when your regular jobs start shutting down, or things like that, nurses and this and that, and they're losing their jobs if they don't follow certain protocols and this and that, then they decide, well, screw it, if I can't be a nurse where I worked for 10 years, I'm going to go play music, which is...
I had the exact opposite.
Yours was that?
I'd finally, kind of worked my ass off and gotten some cool opportunities, and then that shit happened, and you let the wind out of your sails.
I bet.
So...
I bet. And you went back and you were doing the welding and stuff, but I'm sure when you got back with the guys playing music, it was right back to...
It was good. I remember
back to the good times and not the shitty part.
I remember the first show, and it was just, that was whole... I mean, I hate to fucking keep talking about that time period in the world. Like, anyways, we got back, and I remember it because you were so socially distanced from people. Yeah. And so what we do is the exact opposite. So I remember that first show coming back, and I'm like, damn it. Like, I felt awkward. Oh. It took a minute. It took about a week on tour.
Because you were supposed to stay spaced from everybody.
And all that.
And all of a sudden you're back to trying to be normal again.
Right. And I hate to even glorify or talk about that time frame, but it is funny because it was like, I felt like in my mind I lost it. Right. I was like, I can't. Right. Like, what the fuck is going on,
Well, like I said, I'm sure it's cool to get back with your buddies and stuff again, though.
For sure.
It probably didn't take long to.
No, and it usually doesn't.
Just the guys you have with you here, have they been with you for a little bit, or?
They've been with me, yeah. I mean, once I made the move, I kind of I was using guys from out west, and I'm still keep in touch with them and play with them. When it works out, it's been nice to be able to have people that are local, at least in Austin. I'm in about an hour from Austin, but it's been nice to have that in that group. And we played Austin enough to where it wasn't a weird transition to be integrated back into that South Texas scene. Because we played there on tour all the time. So it's like I knew people already.
It's crazy how, from my area, from the Tennessee area, Nashville is, everybody's kind of fighting over little pieces of the pie. Mm-hmm. But in Texas, or in that scene in general, whether you're in Texas or all over, but if you're in the scene, how accepting
Right,
it
right,
is
right,
of,
right.
of everybody.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like your sound is not what you would think of as a Texas sound, but
Right.
which neither was Whiskey Myers and a lot
For
of
sure.
other people, you know. But,
Yeah.
But I guess like you said, the scene is just big enough to.
Everyone's included, and you know I've never really been a brown noser. I'm not saying that any scene is that or the other, but you know I've been accepted. I feel so in that region.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Just going to shows and stuff. Like I was talking to you a little bit earlier about going to the Jason Eady's festival in Mississippi, and it was a lot of folks you're familiar with.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of
sure.
buddies with Taylor Honeycutt and,
Yeah.
and her crew, and Edie and Silverado. You know, and they're there for several days.
Right, right.
You know,
and
which is not normal for them.
Yeah.
They actually
Yeah.
get to hang out with each other.
Yeah.
You know, like sit around a campfire
Yep.
for a couple nights. And but I guess my point to that was musically, there's not a lot of similarities with Gabe Lee, Jason Eady, Adam Hood, Taylor
No.
Honeycutt, Silverado.
No,
But when they all walked in the room together,
it just makes sense.
yeah, they
That's
were
why-
just they were buddies.
Yep.
You know, so I can completely see where
Yeah.
why you would enjoy that circle
For
or
sure,
whatever.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it just kind of happened, you know. You can't really force yourself into it, and
Imagine if you tried to force it, it wouldn't.
It would,
wouldn't
yeah,
work.
it wouldn't, you know, and we do it enough, and we have mutual respect for one another, and I think that's really what it boils down to. We're all out there busting our ass, and we all know it ain't easy, and and whether we all sound a little different, I mean, that's what you want out of a
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
If Taylor and I are playing together, Silverado and I are playing together, all
Yeah.
three of us playing together, Edie's on the bill,
You don't want.
like we're all gonna sound different, and that's the fucking greatest part of the show, is that everyone is doing their own little thing, but it coexists, you know, like
Which
it
is-
works together.
Which, as a fan, I'm just glad that I'm glad it can happen,
Yeah,
because you know, a lot of times in the music world, you know, everything gets pigeonholed and this
100%.
and that, and I'm glad that scene is able to just kind of do what it wants to.
Yeah, yeah.
To you know, there's always some kind of, I guess, gate holders or
Right,
whatever
right.
you want to call it, but for the most part,
yeah.
you know what I mean.
I always thought, it's like, there ain't no gatekeeper if you work your ass off. And that's how it was in LA too, is there was a very tight-knit group, and it took a little while, but you just do your own thing.
Right.
And then people notice, you
And
know,
then
or whatever.
After
And
people start to notice and you start to build a name, then people start
yeah,
coming,
and that's, I mean,
coming to you as far as that next
for sure.
step.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know, I'm not somebody that tries to bash Nashville on the podcast, but it's different.
It's different. Yeah, that's what it is. It's just different.
Totally different. You
Yeah.
know, you know, they're networking within town, and you guys are on the road.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and
Right.
it's just the weird. I don't know. Just talking to people from both of those worlds, it is crazy how that, and it's very few ways are they similar.
Oh, none. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I haven't spent too much time. and
Besides music, I
we
guess.
we tore through there, and there's a Nashville sound, and there's a thing going on, and there's a Texas sound, you know. But the only sound I've ever wanted to do was, or ever told myself I'm gonna do, is the one I fucking want to do. You know, whether people like it or not, that's.
Yeah, scanning through your catalog, I mean, it is. You have different sounds.
Yeah.
You know.
There's country, there's rock, but our show is a rock show. I mean, it's a southern rock show, really, when you break it down.
I could tell when you turned your amp on for the first time.
Yeah.
That was that was
Yeah.
good. You know.
Yeah.
That was good. Okay, so I want to make sure we talk about a few things for sure.
Okay.
What about the? How did the song you did with Silverado? How did that come about?
Yeah, we would listen to that on the road a good bit. Josh, my drummer, and I. We'd put it on in the morning. It was just kind of a soothing thing, and I took it to Mike and Adam Oder, and I was like, I want to cover this, you know, once we started working with them in the studio. And Mike comes back like a week or so later. He's like, let's cut it together. I'm like, fuck yeah. So we actually even cut that in, I want to say February, or maybe January, February. It's been a while. But Silverado and I were both putting out a record right in the same time frame.
Okay.
So that ran its cycle, and then I was talking to him. He's like, let's put it out. And we'll put it out right before the holidays, and it'll just, whatever.
Kind of carry.
Yeah, hopefully kind of carry through. And I was shocked because that was a vulnerable singing part for me. Because I'm normally singing kind of a rock or
More
blues,
rowdy.
more rowdy, So that song, I really wanted to try to capture the beauty of Danny O'Keefe's version, and Silverado played the instruments, and I just sang with them, and I'm glad they did, because anything they touch is fucking great.
Yeah, that was another one of the cool parts about that festival, the Edie thing, is just getting to meet the guys,
Right.
especially. Out of all of them, I guess maybe just because of his personality, but Omar,
Yeah, he's
the best,
he's
man.
a hoot. Yeah.
So he's coming on at the pod, so I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Hell, he just smiles all the damn time.
Yeah.
He's so damn happy.
Yeah, he's a happy dude.
Pisses me off. He's so happy.
You hang around him and it spreads. It's like a virus.
It does.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's I have friends of mine that co-host Steve. He's I guess they have mutual friends, and he's like, you love Omar.
Yeah.
But that's all I would hear.
Yeah.
But then when I met him, I'm like, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
I love Omar.
Yeah. They're all great too, man.
And let's talk about your latest album. That's Head Case, right?
Head Case, yeah.
And where was that? That was recorded at, was it Yellow Dog?
It was at Yellow Dog. We tracked it at the old location in Wimberley, Texas.
Okay.
And it was a great experience. We did kind of piece it together. We did the rhythm section because we were on the road immediately. It was last year. Yeah, we tracked it last year. So we did the rhythm section. I played along, and then I came back and did all my parts, the final stuff. And yeah, man, it was just a great experience working with those guys, and in a cool environment where you can, sleep there. And
I was going to ask that. I've heard a few stories about that. Can you kind of explain to folks what's different about Yellow Dog?
Yeah, I mean, it's less pressure, I guess. And playing live and recording are polar opposite arts. I mean, I found recording harder, and I was never satisfied with what I was doing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like playing live, you're in the moment, and it's and people are seeing you rather than just hearing you. So it took me a minute to capture what maybe you would see in a live show. And I think with Yellow Dog, Mike, Adam, Casey, we were able to capture what we do live a little better than I had before. So
Understood.
yeah, and it's learning and
That's what I was gonna
touring,
say,
and it's all just it's a yearbook. Each one is a chapter. A
Just
yearbook.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so green when I started. It just what it was what it was.
So at that Yellow Dog, it's basically like a compound sort of situation as far as where you're staying on site.
You're staying on site. It's less pressure. Luckily I was doing it with them, so we could leave our stuff set up. We'd work all day,
Right.
have an evening, and get up and do it again and go right back into it.
Gotcha.
And you all eat together, you all drink together, you all have your coffee together. There's no travel. I mean, when we were doing it in LA, we all had to go home and meet and come back and sit in traffic and
There's
do all
a few
this
places
shit.
like that, right? Like Sonic
Absolutely,
Ranch.
Sonic Ranch is a big
yeah.
one, and I just visited there for the first time, and it was insane, like absolutely insane.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've heard that it can be intimidating, but also
there's something soothing about it too, and peaceful about your environment.
it's like as long as things are good, it's great.
Yeah.
But if things start to go south, you're stuck.
Yeah.
You're not going
Better
because you
figure it
can't
the
go
fuck
much
out.
more south.
yeah.
All right. So as far as this new album is concerned, I guess for folks that haven't heard you or your music, what would you say is different besides just the growth between this album and previous?
Yeah, I would say it's a little deeper. I think the messages of everything is. I think growing as an artist, I was a little more surface because it was safe to sing about rambling and women and road dogging and rock and roll.
Understood.
Like that's easy. That's very
It's not as
surface.
personable.
It's not as personable, and it's not as personal to me.
Understood.
So I think the difference between this record is, at this point, I don't give a fuck. I'll lay it out there,
Right.
and people relate to that more.
No, they do.
And being comfortable with doing that, it's like this is who I am, and that's what you're going to get in songs that I write. It's not going to be surface layer, and those are fun too. They're party songs, but I got quite a few songs like that. So I would say this one's a little more in depth.
Is that mostly you writing, or did
Yeah.
you do a lot of co-writing on it? Or
No, there wasn't any co-writing. Mike and Adam, I think there was some lyrics that we switched around, but I had majority of the songs made, and they helped with arrangements and everything. At that point, I was kind of like, man, I need another set of ears on this.
Okay.
You know? And Blood, Sweat, and Beer is the previous album. Eric Reneker, he was tracking it and kind of co-producing it with me, and it was great. Yeah, I think I don't do many co-writes, and I think that's something I should try to start doing.
that's a
Yeah,
whole other,
the whole ball game.
yeah,
different ball
being
game.
vulnerable
Yeah.
and it's one thing to be vulnerable with a notebook and a studio, but it's
Uh-huh.
another to be right in front of somebody else.
And they can just be like, look at you and say, what the fuck? Or just when they don't say anything, you know,
I understand.
they don't like your idea. But I think the collaboration of something is something I want to get more comfortable doing, because each song is something I just feel like I have to say it.
Yeah, but there's so many people out there in this vein of music that I think you would probably click with on writing.
Yeah.
Like from the folks we talked about before.
For sure.
From the Silverado guys and Mike and,
Yeah.
and Taylor and all the. I mean, I could completely see you writing with some people that you're already.
Peers with.
Yeah.
I think that's
and they
the biggest
understand
one.
you.
Right.
You're not as. I don't want to scared as a bad thing, but you're not as worried about it because
For sure.
you're all in the same boat.
But that's a whole different vulnerability boat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you walk in a room, and that's what Nashville is. They clock in, they walk in, they don't know
You're
this
right.
person,
Mm-hmm.
and you like, I've got these ideas, and either they roll with it or they don't, you know? And that's a whole other sense of thick skin
They
that
do
you
that
need to get.
several times a day,
Several
yeah.
times, and they don't give a shit, you
Right.
know?
Nah.
And like that wall to be broken down is something I don't think I've mastered yet, but I'm open to it.
Well, this is another chapter, you know,
Yeah.
as you're moving forward.
For
you
sure.
know, yeah, which is all these relationships and stuff that you've made, I'm sure that'll probably happen when,
just gotta
when
do
the
it.
time is right.
Just
Yeah,
gotta
but if
do
you're on
it.
the road all the time, how the hell are you going to?
I know.
So that's I get that.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the questions that we usually ask, Steve usually asks early on in the pod, and I'm waiting until later because I forgot, but he calls it the pie question. And basically, I give you a pie, there's 4 sections: songwriting, performing, the business, and what's the other 4th one? And damn it, what's the 4th one?
Oh, shit.
I know. Sorry, Steve. Damn it.
Performance,
Performance,
business,
business, songwriting, and studio.
studio.
Where of those things, which one do you find yourself most comfortable in?
Oh shit! Should we do percentage wise?
Yeah. Which one is the most? Which one? Well, just in general, which one do you feel most comfortable with, and then you give percentages. Of
Okay. Performance, for sure.
Always first.
Live performance. Songwriting probably second.
As far
What was the other one?
there was songwriting, performance, studio time, and business.
Studio business last.
Okay.
I hate that.
Yeah, understood.
I had to do it forever, and then you pay someone to do it.
Fair enough. And honestly, that's the most common answer. But we've had a few people that were like, "Well, I've run businesses before."
Right.
and
Right.
I
I mean, that's what we all are doing, and I've grown to learn it better. You know, like
It is a
I'm
small
talking
business.
shit, but it's not.
Understood.
It's good.
All right, so just a couple random rapid fire things. Desert Island Band, or Desert Island album.
Who's that?
Desert Island
Who's that by?
album. If you had to pick one.
Oh, Desert Island. I thought you were
that's what I'm
naming it
trying to
out.
say.
Desert Island album. If I was stuck on a desert island.
Yep.
Fuck.
I always say that's too difficult of a question, Steve.
That's a
But-
tough one, Steve. Shit, hell, fire. That's a tough one.
I'll accept band too, because Steve's not here.
Okay. Man, I've listened to a lot of Little Feat recently. That's something groovy, something kind of low key, not in your face. Obviously Margaritaville. Just kidding.
I mean, if you're gonna be on an island, I guess that's
Yeah,
probably
some
not-
bluesy acoustic shit, and I don't really want to be on an island that long.
I know. I got you. Let's quit listening to music and figure out a way to get off this island.
Yeah.
All right. If we hop in the van and hit shuffle on whoever's phone, what's some things that's gonna play that we might not expect?
You're gonna hear death metal on mine.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Just wanted to for something that's not what you would expect.
Or, yeah, I mean death metal or Skinnerd. Josh listens to like kind of vibey electronic stuff, and Phil is German, so we get Du Hast, motherfucker, you know. So we're all very different, but they're great musicians, so they play them.
Yeah.
They play my shit better than I can.
All right, the last one. This is started off as a joke on episode 1, and now it's a requirement that we ask this. So,
Okay.
Rob, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Oof.
I know that's some tough, hard-hitting shit right there, but that's what we do.
I drink too much beer to like sweets.
Oh, okay.
I don't eat that shit.
Fair enough.
I mean, I guess a Twinkie, if I go back far enough when I was
that's-
smoking a lot of weed.
That's
Let's say Twinkie.
That's
or the-
Hostess, little
Oh,
Debbie.
shit. Little Debbie.
It's okay.
Isn't it Moon Pie's in it, Little Debbie?
No.
But they all make the same shit.
It's all the
right?
same shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, but it's not Little Debbie. We're trying to get a Little Debbie.
Oh, yeah. We love Little Debbie and the Rob Leines band. We can't get enough of it.
And they're in East Tennessee. So surprised I didn't know this either
Okay.
until not long ago. All right, Rob.
Oh, what's the one with the fucking the oatmeal and then
the cream pie?
yeah, I like those.
Okay. See?
Yeah.
There we go. All right, Rob.
I do all right.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. All right, man. Appreciate the time. Again, try to say this at the during these things. Make sure you follow Rob Leines on all of his Instagram. I'll put it in the description. But make sure you follow on Instagram and all of his socials. Interact with them wherever you stream your music. Hit that follow button and.
Slam that like button, dude.
Very good. All right,
Memphis, baby.
Yes, sir.
Ride the lightning.